Good evening, everyone. My name's Frank Bunce. I'm doing this sort of work. I came because Swanee asked me to come along. I'm doing a similar job as Swanee, in that I'm working for a community foundation over in Papatoe, whose job it is to try and raise funds to help benefit groups like Swanee's, like Canopy, so that enables her to be able to carry on the wonderful work that she's doing, to enable, you know, people like yourselves, the young people, to be able to get out there and you know, reach your potential. So I'm not going to take up a lot of your time. The first thing I'd like to do, though, is to acknowledge the people who've organised this evening tonight. I know how much work goes into an evening like this, because, you know, you've got to go right through the planning stage, you've got to go into that, through that, the vision, excuse me, and the delivery. And from the short time we've been here, you know, it's been wonderful, you can't doubt that. I know tonight is a celebration of the success and good in Otara, and I know that there's a lot of that in this area. I know that there's a lot of good people that have come out of here, and most of all, I know that there's still a lot to come. I used to live myself over in French Street, just over somewhere over here, and I went to kindergarten, which is kind of still there on the corner of of Beards Road and Otara Road, and I went to Clydemore Primary School, which is a little bit further down the road, and I think that's been swallowed up now by Manukau Tech. So I've got a little bit of history with the area. My family moved over to Mangere when I was young, and I spent most of my life there, but I still live locally over in Papatoe, and it really frustrates me to see the waste that we have in this area, especially with the potential and the amount of talent that we have here. So that's the reason that I got into doing it, because I want to see people like yourselves doing well. I know, as I said, tonight is a celebration of success in the performing arts. I don't have any success in performing arts, but I figured I'd just come here because I come from the same sort of place that you guys do. And I figure that kind of works. I got a little prompt when I was younger. My success, if you like, has been in rugby. And I played rugby for a long, long time out of the Manukau club over in Mangere. And I was able to, after many, many years of trying, I was able to make it into the All Blacks. And a good friend of mine, actually, a good Otara boy himself, Eric Rush, he was born here, he was born up north, but he lived there from a very, very early age, and he went to schools all locally. We made the All Blacks at about the same time. And we started traveling, we started playing all over the world, and the two of us, we started meeting a lot of famous people and traveling a lot of interesting places. The two of us, we found ourselves over in London in Buckingham Palace, and we were sitting there. We were going to have afternoon tea with the royal family, and at this point we're in the room, and this group came in. The Queen, Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Charles, Princess Diana, she was still alive then, Princess Anne, you know, the whole royal family. Andrew and Edward were there, and we were sitting there and we were having tea, and I happened to look around. It was a wonderful experience being in the palace, and we happened to look around. Well, I did, and I looked over and I saw Eric Rush looking at me, and he was smiling. He had a funny look on his face, and I kind of looked away and carried on what I was doing. I looked back again a minute or so later, and he was looking. I caught his eye again, and he had this funny look on his face, smiling at me, and I thought, what's that idiot doing, you know, just looking at me like that? And I didn't get a chance to ask him until later on that night. And I went up to him and I said, you know, when we were in the palace, you know, and talking to the Queen, and I looked over at you, and you were looking at me with a strange look. I said, yeah. I said, what were you doing? What was that supposed to be? And he said, you know, I was just thinking to myself, because I looked around and I saw where we were, and I looked at you, and then I thought to myself, look how far people like us have come. And he goes, and I saw you talking, because at that time I think I was talking to Princess Diana, and he goes, and I thought to myself, look how far we've come. A Maori from Otara and a coconut from Mangere. And here we were sitting in Buckingham Palace with the Queen, and you know, and doing all of this, and we thought, yeah, it's great. And every time we went to a new place, you know, we were in Paris, up the Eiffel Tower, we were meeting Nelson Mandela in South Africa, we were Statue of Liberty in New York, all over the world. And every time we did that, we'd look around and I'd see Rushy, and we'd kind of look at each other, and it'd be a nice kind of moment acknowledging where we came from and sort of how we've moved out of, well, not out of the area, but how we've moved within our own lives and sort of got up there, I guess. And I think the point I'm trying to make, as I said before, the potential that we have in, not only in Otara, I know that, but South Auckland, Manukau City is huge. It's great. And, you know, for an area, you know, and let's face it, bad things do happen out here, but with the bad press that we have, the bad reputation that some people give, this area never ceases to amaze you when it throws up success stories in all walks of life and all over the show. So I want to again congratulate you on the evening, on what you're doing. You know, what we've seen up here so far has been fantastic. I'm sure, you know, you guys are in for a treat later on as the evening moves on. So can I say again, Swanee, thanks for asking me to come down, and I wish you all have a good night. But remember, you know, you never forget where you came from, but boy, there's a whole huge world out there that's wonderful and interesting, and it's yours if you want it. So thank you very much for sitting here listening to me.